My name is Mr. Caputo.
Make the ground shake.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up many places, but mostly in Washington State, north of Seattle.
Cool. What university did you go to?
I've attended multiple universities. I went to Eastern Washington University, I went to the University of Washington, and then I came to San Diego State and did my graduate school and my teaching credential here.
What degrees did you get at those other two schools that you went for San Diego State?
I got my bachelor's at the University of Washington, and I got my master's and my teaching credential at San Diego State.
Okay. What was your biggest obstacle you faced to get where you are today?
My biggest obstacles, I know for me, I didn't have lots of money, so I had to pay for my college along the way, and I had to work, and just trying to work and go to school at the same time was a lot of work.
Alright, what is your favorite part about your job?
What I like about the students, or like about my job, is for sure the students. I like to see the moments that they're learning. Not every moment is perfect, but I definitely enjoy to see students that are engaged, the students learning, and there's always a moment where you see a student having like an aha, that makes sense to me moment, and those are the ones that are the best.
Do you have any advice for people who are interested in your sort of career, like being a teacher?
Yeah, I think that advice-wise, it's a career that you need to truly be dedicated for. It's not for everybody. It takes a lot of patience. So if you want to be a teacher, you have to have a lot of patience.
What inspired you to be a teacher?
I think like a lot of teachers, there's a teacher that you have that's inspirational. I know for me, I had a teacher when I was a senior in high school that just made me think about things in a different way, and didn't always just, wasn't like every other teacher, just had a very different attitude and made me think in ways that I hadn't thought before. It made me think about the fact that, you know, I'd like to have the same impact sometimes on students.
How did you support yourself after high school?
While I was in school, I did have financial aid, some part financial aid. I had some grants, as well as the fact that when I was here in San Diego, I had a landscape business, and so when I was going to school, I was doing landscaping as a way to pay for my college.
Did you ever imagine yourself doing this job?
Being a teacher, I think every student does at some point think about what it's like for the teacher. I think as empathetic as we all are, sitting out there, I imagine students must imagine sometimes what it must be like, you know, for the good moments, but also the tough moments for teaching, and think about how it is the job. And I definitely thought about that for some of my teachers, where they had moments that were like, oh, I don't know if I'd want to do that. But then there's other moments where you see it, you know, students learning, and you think, I'd like to be able to do that for students as well.
What did you want to be when you were in high school?
I don't know that I was necessarily sure. My studies were originally in geography, and I always had a desire to do something with maps. I thought about being a city planner. I thought about being a map maker, a cartographer. And I always had a fascination with the law, so I had a thought somewhere of potentially being a lawyer at some point.
When you were my age, what was your perspective on life?
I think that as a young person, you don't necessarily understand the day-to-day grind. You know, you envision your life as being like, not easy, but you don't realize that there's a lot of minutia and small details in life that you have to face every day, and that you focus on, you imagine yourself doing great things, and teaching is certainly a great thing, but you don't realize that there's also a lot of just everyday things that you have to accomplish, and you know, life is, it's not all bells and whistles and wonderful, and I think when you're young, you just envision life as being great, and you're going to have all this money, and life is going to be so easy, and you get there and you realize that it's not like that.
How do you define success?
I think that success, there's a strong correlation with happiness, and I think that success comes from happiness, but I also think that success can be tied to doing good and making an impact, and I think success can be measured in how, I don't know about measured, but looked about how you look at yourself, and you're able to evaluate yourself and make meaning about what you do and what you accomplish. It's not so much about finances, but actually just trying to make yourself a better person.